Good morning and welcome to our purposely calibrated show, our first show of 2019. I'm here with host is Leah, the life coach, and also myself, Carlos Garcia of FYI Technologies. Welcome to a brand new year, a brand new show. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Hi, I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I'm in Palm Springs. It's a little cloudy.
What?
Yeah, right?
Weather must be really nice though, although it's cloudy, right?
It's a little cloudy, but it's okay. It's nice.
Nice. What are you doing out there? Fun or business?
Fun. It's my
Nice.
friend's 40th birthday, so I'm
Oh,
super
very
grateful
cool.
to bring in the new year with her.
Well, happy birthday to her on
Aw.
behalf of all of us. So, hey, I wanted to start off our year by talking about goals. I think that's important as we begin our year. I know that at the tail end of 2018, we discussed a lot of different topics, a lot of different things for folks to be aware of and be mindful of. But I think beginning now in 2019, it's something that I've actually been doing all week long with my students, is creating these personal goals, business goals, and just where do you want to see yourself on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And not only has that been assignments for them, but it's really helped me look at things in a different perspective as well too.
That I love that. Oh, did I freeze?
I think you did, yeah. Okay, and as we wait for Leah to get back, like I said, if you're just joining us now, please make sure that you share this out with your friends. Please make sure that you put out the link on Facebook. And if you're in our conversation, feel free to go ahead and jump right in. Again, thank you all for joining us this morning. We are talking about goals for 2019, and as I began saying, this week I've been actually talking a little bit about this. All right, let's see here. I just wanted to make sure that I see the show. Perfect. 2018. So, what are your goals? If you're looking, if you're joining us, feel free to hop on, make some comments on our page as well. All right, Roger Alonso. Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Roger, for joining us. Kurt, joining us, George, as well. Thanks for being here this morning. We're talking about and discussing goals. So please feel free to join in, talk to us about what your goals are. So let me tell you guys a little bit about what I've done this week with my students. Those of you that are not aware, I'm actually an instructor as well for adult education and technical classes. So one of the key things that we discussed as the new year began is, what are your goals? What are you looking to do this year? I broke it down into different areas, such as what are your daily goals? How are you planning for your daily goals? How are you planning for your weekly goals? What does your monthly goals look like? So I created several templates that can actually help with some of this. So if you want me to send you some of this, please send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to share these templates just to kind of keep track of what you're doing. And the whole purpose of this exercise, and the whole purpose of why I'm sharing all of this, is because it is important to have a purpose of what you're doing on a daily basis, if not a weekly basis, so you know how to hold yourself accountable. I talk about it on here because it's great to also have, as you already know, great to do, have your tribe hold you accountable or help you when you need help. So that's one of the key reasons why I like to talk about, especially on the air. Hey, Donald, thanks for joining us. Oh, excellent. So Donald, hey, to find a local business partner, let us know where you're located. What type of job do you do? Or what type of business do you have, I should say. And let's see how we can connect you. And if you feel like you have a moment to hop on the seat, feel free. More than happy to have you on here as well too. So some of the things I want to make sure that you guys, as you're listening to what I'm talking about here, is let's start creating some of these goals. Let's talk about. Let's take Monday for example. What are you going to plan on doing for the week? Let's talk about Monday. Let's talk about Tuesday. Every day of the week should have something that you want to be able to accomplish, something that you want to move forward to. As you know, too, if you're following me, you know that on the usually when I'm out at the gym, I'm always putting where, if I'm working out, or it's not posting on there just to brag that I'm out at a certain place or whatever. No, me accountable because folks know where I'm at. Folks comment. Folks sometimes hop in and they're doing their own gym exercise, whatever it is that they're at the same time I'm doing it. So it's a nice way, even though we're not all together physically, it's a nice way to also keep together in different areas too. So those are some of the beginning questions I want you guys to ask is what are you going to be doing this upcoming week, the beginning of what is it going to look like between now and December of next year when we're having the same type of discussion? How are you going to be able to measure your goals? Hey, Minnie, thanks for joining us. Go start with properly branding my business. Oh, appreciate you too, my friend. Minnie actually is the owner and founder of Spectrum Realty Services. She's a phenomenal lady. Does some amazing things in different areas. So make sure you connect with her as well too. And oh, hey, Donald, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, how are you doing? Yeah, I just thought I'd give you some support because you look like you're here on your own, but you're posting to Facebook or YouTube.
I'm actually doing both right now. And actually my co-host Leah seems to be having a little bit of a technical difficulties, chiming in here. But hey, now that we have you on here, talk to us about your goal, finding local business partners. Where are you located?
I'm in Denmark.
A little far away from us, but hey, it's all good, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is like I would like, it wouldn't even matter if I had a virtual partner, but there's times when I know that I need not just that swift kick in the pants to get things going on days when I don't want to, but it's also nice to have somebody to like bounce things off of every time you get stuck somewhere. You go, hey, wait a minute, I'm having a problem with this. What do you think we should do with this kind of little problem? What kind of solution do you have? And that's where I find myself at most of the time, because I'm pretty much self-supportive or self-independent, I guess you would call it, for most of the things. But I find that I think that the most important right now is accountability. And I don't want some phony accountability partner. Somebody just goes, oh, well, I'll call you twice a week, and I'll spend maybe 15 to 20 minutes. That for me, that's not going to work. I need somebody that's going to be there every single day and that's as motivated about my project as I am. So, yeah.
It's a little bit about your business and your background.
Well, I have two businesses on the burner right now. I have littlebeaches.com, which is I'm basically designing apparel in lots of different ways. Like I'm designing shoes, dresses, hoodies, all kinds of sporting goods and stuff like that. And it was basically the Little Beaches logo, littlebeaches.com, was the first concept I had. Was there's a lot of small little secluded beaches where I'm at here in Denmark, and they're kind of out of the way and hard to find. But I just thought, well, I could sell it as kind of like a blog, kind of like a blog in that regard. I could make it like a travel blog. And I thought, no, because I really like the idea of the name Little Beaches relating to apparel, swimwear and things like that. So I wanted to maybe see if I could merge the two and do like a blog / apparel site where I could get the two things moving in the same direction. But that's the first project. And another project is a physical product that I'm using to actually use for doing video streaming, which is a project it has to do with the hardware that you use to do video streaming.
Oh, very cool.
It's my own design, my own invention. So that's still, it's way past prototype stages. I've already gotten to the point where I'm going in manufacturing. So before I launch that, that's where I really feel like it'd be nice to have a partner that is like what I said is an accountability partner. So one that can help me to get past those daily little chores, like, oh, did you remember to go talk to the CPA, or did you get this checkpoint done? And it's nice because I'm single. I've been married for 18 years and I've been divorced for about 6 or 7 years now. And to be single and to be in business is a weird situation to be in, because the whole time I was living in California, I was born and raised in California. The whole time I was married and living in California with my wife, we were in business together. So it was a really good situation. We really got along well with the business. So, and this is just it's a whole different ball of wax, different product too.
You know what?
So,
It's funny that you mentioned that, because part of what, and I don't know if you had a look at or follow me on Facebook, but I'm in IT. I'm in social media. I'm a nerd by heart, right? I always share the funny story that I was born a nerd at 13 because that was my first introduction to computers and all that good stuff, right? So here I am still doing what I love doing, and I just love it. Part of the fact of what I did to launch this show, and I'm very grateful as well too. Her and I have known each other now for a few years. We're always about building online communities, online tribes, right? One of the that I've actually we've been able to do is actually create this this growth of online tribes, on digital and physical communities for that same, and that folks like you and I who need that accountability, who need that sounding board on an everyday basis, because we do a lot of our stuff on our own, right? And sometimes we're not in an office settings where we're going to turn around and say, "Hey, Joe, what do you think of this?" Or, you know, bounce it back and forth. So this is actually a concept, man, that I've been playing with for a long time, especially when I launched my own business and working out of my house in the beginning, working out of the different offices or different places where I was at, not having that luxury of having that physical or that connection to somebody, like you just said, to bounce off an idea. If I said, "Hey, Donald, you know, I need to get this thing rolling as far as you know, getting something promoted or whatever," and having you say, "Hey, by the way, did you get that launched? Did you get to do this? You know, where are you at with this?" So it's about not so much, and I get what you're saying with the flakiness, because I don't believe in that. If you're truly going to be part of a tribe, you have to. My expectation is you have to contribute and help one another, and that's the key. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you.
The person, the ideal candidate would be someone who actually has some background in either manufacturing or sales marketing, or, you know, one of those types of backgrounds, because you could find somebody who you might really get along with and mesh with, but their skill set might just be nowhere near what you need for the situation, you know, for the job. And that's where, it's like pulling nails or pulling teeth or whatever. It's pretty tough to find the right person.
Well, I know that you have two folks right in here, Leah and myself, man, who I know would so in any way we possibly can. And I'm speaking for Leah because I know she's got such a great heart, but she could tell you herself, you know.
Definitely. I always love her, Donald. Anything I could ever do. Oh.
Yeah, well, it's like all the things that I've been doing, though, have been coming to kind of a head this year. I think I'm going to be able to launch my product within probably 2 months. I'll be able to launch my other product for the mobile stuff, for the streaming, I guess you would call it. It's basically an accessory for video work. So, but when I launch that, I think it's going to be really, really busy. So that's another reason why it's nice to have a partner to, you know, kind of like just help share the burden, because there's sometimes when things can get pretty heavy and, you know, pretty hectic. And it's nice to be able to assign at least 1 or 2 tasks per month to another person. Just say, "Oh, okay, can you get this done?" And they're either yes or no. You know, there's no gray area. You can either do something or you can't do something. Right. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
And that's part of also being straight up, man. People have to understand that you can't just say yes, you're going to do something and not do it just because you're trying to be nice and polite, you know?
Yeah, I think, I don't need polite. I need somebody who's got skills.
Right.
Well, I'll see if I can do it. I'll try.
Yeah, or let me see if I can get around to it. Right.
Very crucial. Yeah, it's down to the wire now. So that's why I've actually gone here in Denmark. There's what do you call it? Some of these not like maker spaces, but they're kind of like shared office space where you can actually rent out office space. And in some cases, they're really nice, but there's a high premium on the monthly rent on those places, and you do get some of that camaraderie amongst those people. But there's no real connection because they are trying to do their own thing and run their own businesses. So you get a little bit of it. I mean, I've been in that office before, in one office before, where there is a little bit of interaction, but it is kind of limited to what you can actually get done with another person. So it's just not ideal for me right now. I really need to get a person that I can count on, that actually can kick me in the pants when I need it, when they can see that something needs to get done. You know what I mean? Because that's the biggest problem too. And it's not a matter of, it's not even a matter when you feel like you are, say you feel like you're stuck or you're nervous or you're afraid about taking the next step. It's all about having the actual talent to do a specific task. That's where it gets down to brass tacks, and you got to go, well, I've really got to farm this out. So I could either go on to freelancer and say, okay, I need a graphic artist to do this, this, and this, or I need a marketing guy that's good at SEO to just do this, this, and this, and that's cool. But it's not like the same thing you get with a partnership. So
right.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. I'd love to learn more about that second product as well too, because it sounds really interesting and sounds like a game changer.
Oh yeah, it'll I think a lot of people adopt it because it's kind of convenient, and it's simple to use, and it's really, there's like no working parts. It's just really basic. And that's what I when I'm designing something, I always keep that in mind. I always try to cut away all of the fat, and just get it, boiled down to the nitty gritty, and keep it that way. So it's not elaborate, but it's very functional.
I love that. I love that. So I missed the little part of it. So was your goal to create a partnership where you're launching this product that you're doing?
Yeah, the type of partnership would be a limited partnership with a person that was actually, depending on their skill set, that would actually basically depend. That would be the actual deciding factor on their actual benefits from the actual partnership. Because if I have somebody that comes in and I'm only able to count on them to do a few things, I'm not going to give away a big portion of the company to somebody who may not have that many skills. But still, the one important skill is that they can look at me, because I mean, I've got a pretty forceful personality, and I don't take any crap off of anybody. But at the same time, I need somebody that can actually just say, this really needs to get done, and you need to do it today. I need somebody who actually kind of like manhandle me into submission, to say, hey, this has to be done right away. So that's one of the personality things. That's what I think most people, that they get into business with a partnership. And my friend just told me today that one of the maker spots that I was a member of about 2 years ago, I said, what happened to that maker spot? I said, it just kind of dissolved. And he said, yeah. I said, I hadn't gone down there for about 3 or 4 months. And then he heard the news that the two guys that were trying to be the managing partners of that company, they both had big egos, and they just kind of like burn each other out, I guess, so that company kind of like dissolved because of their egos. There was no give and take. So that's a tough thing to find, that a good balance.
Yeah. Yeah, I always love situations where everybody has a part and everybody gets something out of it as well. That's equivalent. If you can really create that pie and balance that out, you really have something special. Just fill in those pieces and those blanks. And it sounds simple, and I know it's way more elaborate than that, but that is the idea, to simplify it, to make it actionable, because you really can put together a great team, a partnership or team, that can really get the job done and really just make it be automatic, you know. So
Yep.
you know, and you got to find the right people to fill those spaces and places. And I hope you find that person, Donald, because
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing what you're going to create and put out there. You know, you have people
Yeah.
that need it and want it and are waiting for it. So that's what's up. I hope you get that partnership this year.
Well, I'll send you guys some samples, and then you can test them, and then see what you say, what you like, and what you don't like. You can give me some reviews, some feedback. Um, but the thing is those with all these things, it's like the manufacturing part is getting closer. It's nearer to the point where I can go into full production. So that's
Wow.
really a big, huge weight lifted from my shoulders, because I was going back and forth to company in China and one in India, and yeah, it was kind of tough to get those things, those bugs worked out.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
bet.
time consuming.
I bet. I
So
bet
yeah,
you did. That's what's up. I'm excited. You got through it, man.
yeah,
Sounds like 2019, man, is just going to start off strong for you, man. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. The reason I started that Little Beaches too was, the other thing was, is that it was kind of like an outlet. You know, when you have, I don't know, some people are just super creative, and some people, they look at something and they don't try to imagine how it's made or what it's made from, or they don't think about the manufacturing that goes into it. I think about all those things, but it's kind of like sometimes it's a curse, because I have found software that I really love to use, and that's what opened that door for Little Beaches.
I
I
love
found software that was like, oh, this is so easy to use. Now I can really go crazy with my designing stuff and
it.
just stuff. So yeah,
What
Let me ask
freedom.
you, sorry, go ahead, Leo.
I was just saying what freedom. I love that he experienced that on creating what he had to create, because sometimes you can want to create something and don't have the tools and the resources, and
yep,
it's frustrating. But for him to be able to go in and dive in without the restrictions, and it only get the control only get wider, it's such something
yeah.
so look forward to, you know. So enjoy that freedom. That's beautiful. That's just how much better your product's going to be.
Yeah, software too. It's evolved so much in the past 10
Yeah.
years. It's like I used to remember drawing and doing sketches and stuff with Paint, Windows Paint program. Now
Mhm.
I've got paint.net. And then people go, oh, why don't you use this program or that program? I'm like going, hey, I'm really good at using that program over here, paint.net. So it's like I got into a rut. But then I found other programs that allow me to take my designs and shift them directly into like apparel, for example. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a
I
lot of
love.
fun
A lot of people don't
because of
go
the software.
after what they want to do because they feel like, oh, I don't know how to do this, or I don't have the answers now.
Right.
Once you get into the work, start opening up for you, because nobody needed to tell Donald about that other program that was better for him until he needed it, until he was talking about it, until it was out into the universe to come to him. So you guys got to jump into what you want to do in order to have everything come to you. I always tell people we have an internal GPS attracting everything we need. So jump out there, and once
Yeah.
you get to what you need, it will come to you. Just like, it opened up for Donald. That's what's up. I'm so in love with that.
Yeah, and it's, believe me, it's out there too, because you don't know until you really search. And you really
Mhm.
have to do the real simple things like Google search something on YouTube for how do you do this and how do you do that. And the funny thing is you'll find things that you never expected to find. I just yesterday I found some software that is designed, and this was an old from 2012 software that helps you manage a team. And it actually keeps track of all of their hours spent on the computer and their activity on the computer. And I know that some of these, like Freelancer and some of these other websites that do similar things, but this thing really does it, because it burrows down and finds out exactly how much time they're working on your project, and it keeps track of it. So it's like, wow, this is amazing. And this software, in most cases, it's free. But if you have a big team, then you need to pay like a subscription fee. But it's just amazing what kind of stuff's out there these days.
Right.
Really amazing.
Donald, I have a quick question for you. So on the drawings for Little Beaches, are these actual stuff, apparel that you have in full production for your drawings and your designs?
Yeah, yeah. So anything that's on the website, the thing I liked about that particular website too, and the tools behind it is it allows me to, or it allows you as a customer, order something that is not sitting on a warehouse shelf for and collecting dust. So and it's what's the word for it? Eco-friendly, because there is not thousands and tons of materials being sent into production for a product that may or may not get sold. So it's like when you see something you like, you order it and it gets made and then it's sent to your home. So in that regard, I was really impressed with the whole system. And I was actually really impressed with the quality of the products that I got sent to me. I was like, wow, this is really amazing.
Good.
So in that regard, it's a really win-win for me. But at the same time, when I looked at a news article about Burberry burning and destroying thousands of pounds of clothing, I thought, what's the logic behind that? And they basically, I think their logic was they did not want to reduce the price of their Burberry stuff because it would, in some kind of psychological thing, it would reduce the value of Burberry brand. And I thought, yeah, that's still kind of a wasteful kind of practice, you know, to produce a lot of clothing and products and then actually, because you can't sell them, you have to throw them away or destroy them. That to me never kind of made sense at all.
Oh,
So
I didn't
yeah.
see your website or know what it is, but I love your thinking behind everything that you're saying.
Yeah, I just checked out the site. Very cool, man. Very
cool.
easy to navigate.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So I'll put it down on the chat. So if anybody watches, you can actually go to it as well too and check it out.
Okay, that's cool.
I love bringing the new year with Donald.
What's that?
I love bringing in the new year with Donald. This was awesome.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Mark, this is cool, right?
Littlebeaches.com. Yeah. Yeah, that was the result of finding something accidentally. So that's what's amazing about being online today. I can remember there was I think his name's Craig Feefield. He was a guy who was doing like a podcast, and it was a vlogcast, so he would do video and audio as well. And I remember I was watching him one day and he said, oh, you can go to this site right here and learn how to code. And I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing, because the last year I was in high school was the first year that we got computers and there was some basic programming there. But then I went a whole period of time after I left high school where I didn't even have access to a computer because I was working for a utilities company in Newport Beach. So I wasn't on a computer. I was working in construction. So I didn't have any use for a computer, for one thing. And I was just like, no, it's no big deal. When I got to Denmark, I got my first computer in 2004. Wow. And then I thought, well, how am I going to use this for programming, because I don't know how to program. So it was great that I found that guy who actually said, hey, there's free courses everywhere. You just have to take the time to go and use them, you know.
I love YouTube University, and that's my that's my alma mater. So
so many programs out there, yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Hey, we when you were off about setting examples of different things, but I want to make sure that your perspective, your professional suggestions also on how to develop your goals, or just a little short game before we wrap things up.
For goal setting, goals, 2019, I think of goals in a different way. I do like the idea of goals and going through the process of goals, because you get clarity on your vision. But I think that is the real intention and the real importance of it, to get clarity on where you want to go, and to do that often and allow it to flow and be open to what the universe presents to you, and know that you do not make your goals and you set the intention for what's within your power. You do it for your desires and what what your vision is, to complete that and deliver what you want to deliver to the public. So do not be held back by limiting powers and beliefs and things that you have created in yourself and that you have power over. Jump in there, and just like Donald's story, things become available to you. You don't know where to go look for that because you're not deep enough in it yet. Immerse yourself in your dreams and your goals, get clarity on it, and jump in and dive in and know that it can be done and you are more than enough. And happy freaking New Year, you guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Yeah,
New
that's a great way to kind of end our show on this positive note. I know we always run out of time when we're having fun. So I just want to take a moment, first of all, to say Happy New Year. Thank you all. We've been broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. A very special Donald for hopping on here and sharing his vision and this great things that he's putting out. Can't wait to try some of this stuff out and share that out as well. So make sure that if you know somebody who's very serious and partnering up with Donald, make sure you connect with him as well. And we can go from there. So Leah, as always, thank you so much for joining us. This is Purposely Calibrated show, first show of the year. More great things to come, more different platforms to explore. So we are really looking forward to having this year be just an amazing, mind-blowing year for sure.
Great.
Any last words, Leah?
Any last words for me? No.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, guys. Thank you, Get Vocal. Thank you, Donald.
Thank you.
Carlos, Happy New Year, love.
You too.